Victor Wembanyama isn't just dominating anymore, he's changing the entire geometry of basketball. For 2 years, everyone wondered if the unicorn hype was real or just another tall prospect destined to flame out. But now, year 3 has begun, and the league's worst nightmare is already unfolding. Because through just a handful of games, it's clear this isn't simply about Wemby anymore. It's about Wemby and Harper. One is a 7'5" phenomenon finally learning how to impose his will like a veteran. The other is a 19-year-old rookie who plays with the composure of a Hall of Famer. Together, they might be the most dangerous young duo the NBA has seen in decades. And if the first week of the season is any indication, the Spurs aren't just ahead of schedule, they might be building the league's next dynasty. But before we crown them, let's break down exactly what's happening, because the numbers in film are more frightening than the hype itself. When Victor Wembanyama entered the league, everyone knew he was unique. A 7'5" forward who could dribble like a guard, shoot like a wing, and block shots like a center. The problem? He was raw. He often floated around the perimeter, jacking up threes instead of punishing people inside. He was spectacular, yes, but inconsistent. Teams figured if they pushed him around physically, they could keep him out of rhythm. Well, those days are over. This offseason, Wemby trained with legends Hakeem Olajuwon and Kevin Garnett, and you can see their fingerprints all over his new game. Instead of settling for deep threes, he's attacking downhill. Instead of shying away from contact, he's initiating it. He's punishing defenders at the rim, flipping the script from finesse unicorn to physical nightmare. The stats are mind-blowing. Through just 3 games, he became the first player in NBA history to score over 100 points and block more than 15 shots. Not Shaq, not Hakeem, not Kareem. Nobody has ever done that. He's averaging 31 points, 14 rebounds, and nearly 5 blocks on 59% shooting. That's not just efficiency, that's dominance. And get this, Wemby already has more blocks himself than over 24 entire NBA teams combined. The biggest change? His mindset. He's finishing through contact, posting up with polished footwork, and shooting 80% at the rim. His free throw percentage is over 80%, which makes fouling him a terrible option. When you combine elite touch, size, and confidence, you get something the league has no blueprint for. Opening night, he dropped 40 on Dallas. Against New Orleans, he nearly had a triple-double with blocks. Against Brooklyn, he went for 29, 11, and 9 blocks in an overtime win. And against Toronto, he casually finished with 24 points on 7 for 8 shooting, perfect from the line, and a game-high plus 35. This isn't hype anymore. This is reality. And the scariest part? His offense isn't even the main problem. Everyone knew Wemby would block shots, but nobody expected him to block them at a historic pace. His block rate sits at 16.7%. For context, the all-time NBA record is Manute Bol at 10.6%. Wemby is operating on a completely different level. Think about what that means. The gap between Wemby and the second-best shot blocker this year is bigger than the gap between second place and 62nd place. That's not just dominance, that's distortion. He's altering the way teams approach offense entirely. Players are hesitating at the rim, changing their shots mid-air, or passing out of drives they'd normally take. Against Toronto, he was a plus 35 because his very presence warped their attack. The Spurs' defensive rating sits at 105 through 4 games, elite territory for any team, let alone one this young. Wemby isn't just blocking shots. He's protecting the paint so well that his teammates can gamble on the perimeter. They know if they get beat, there's a 7'5" monster waiting behind them. That confidence changes everything. And yet, the real danger for the rest of the NBA isn't Wemby's defense or his scoring. It's that he's finally got a running mate who elevates his impact even further. Harper is only 19, but you wouldn't know it watching him play. Most rookies sprint through possessions trying to prove they belong. Harper? He looks like he's been in the league for a decade. In his very first home game, Harper posted 20 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 0 turnovers. He became the youngest guard in NBA history to record a 25-5 game with no turnovers. And it's not just about stats. It's about composure. He doesn't panic under pressure. He doesn't force passes or dribble himself into trouble. Instead, he controls the pace, orchestrates the second unit, and makes plays that veterans struggle with. Scouts compared him to James Harden and Deron Williams because of his ability to manipulate defenders with timing, pivots, and body control. At Rutgers, he shot nearly 68% at the rim, and that craft has translated immediately. He's finishing layups in traffic with both hands, throwing in floaters, and attacking bigger defenders without fear. The comparison Spurs fans are whispering, though, isn't Harden. It's Manu Ginobili, a left-handed guard coming off the bench, energizing the game, and making winning plays. Obviously, it's early, but the resemblance is there. And that's where this story turns from Wemby is great to the Spurs might have something terrifying. Because when you put Harper's IQ next to Wemby's gravity, you get plays that teams simply cannot defend. Pick-and-roll basketball is the foundation of the modern NBA. But what happens when you run it with a patient, crafty guard and a 7'5" cheat code? You get something close to unfair. Harper has the patience to let the defense commit. Wemby rolls with a 7'9" wingspan, soft touch, and the ability to finish over anyone. If you trap Harper, he finds Wemby for the lob. If you drop, Harper gets to the rim or pulls up. If you switch, it's a mismatch either way. Against Brooklyn in crunch time, the Spurs ran this action over and over, and the Nets had no answers. They doubled Wemby in the post, Harper found the shooter, they dropped coverage, Wemby dunked, they switched, Harper scored. Everything was a bucket. And it wasn't just the flashy plays, it was the poise. For a young team to execute late-game offense like a playoff veteran squad is almost unheard of. But the Spurs, led by a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old, looked like they'd been here before. That's what makes this duo special. It's not just highlights, it's substance. And when you add the supporting cast into the mix, the picture gets even scarier. The Spurs aren't just Wemby and Harper, their supporting cast is quietly thriving. Stephen Castle is hitting clutch shots and playing with relentless confidence. Devin Vassell is spacing the floor and punishing defenses that collapse on Wemby. Keldon Johnson is thriving as the physical wing, benefiting from all the defensive attention his teammates draw, and perhaps most importantly, De'Aaron Fox hasn't even played yet this season. Think about that. The Spurs are already undefeated with wins over Dallas, New Orleans, Brooklyn, and Toronto, and they're doing it without their starting all-star point guard. And let's not forget, San Antonio still has a war chest of draft picks, young players, and cap space to add another star. If they decide to trade for a veteran or chase a disgruntled superstar, they have the assets to do it. This is not a team peaking early. This is a team building for something much bigger. Skeptics will say it's only 4 games, that teams will adjust, that the hot start will fade. But here's why this feels different. Wemby's dominance is built on efficiency and fundamentals. He's not relying on circus shots or streaky shooting. He's attacking the rim, protecting the paint, and scoring in ways that are sustainable. Harper's impact is built on IQ and decision-making. He's not just riding adrenaline or beginner's luck. He's making reads that most rookies can't even process. And the Spurs as a whole aren't just outscoring teams. They're playing disciplined defense, rotating with purpose, and executing late-game sets like a veteran group. That combination, youth, talent, and structure, is exactly what dynasties are built on. It feels eerily similar to the early 2000s Spurs, when Tim Duncan was emerging as a superstar and Manu Ginobili was an unknown European guard shocking the league with poise and craft. We've seen this movie before, and we know how it ended. Here's the part that should keep every other franchise up at night. These guys are only beginning. Victor Wembanyama is just 21. He hasn't hit his physical prime yet. He hasn't even fully mastered the league. Imagine him at 24 or 25, with 5 years of experience and a stronger frame. If he's already this dominant, what comes next could be unfair. Dylan Harper is 19. He's coming off the bench right now, still learning NBA speed. He hasn't had a full pro offseason to develop his body. Imagine what he looks like as a starter in year 2 or 3. If this is the baseline, the ceiling is terrifying. And then there's the chemistry. Usually duos take years to develop trust and rhythm. These two found it within a week. Their connection looks natural, like it's been rehearsed for seasons. Add in the supporting cast, plus the fact that San Antonio has the flexibility to trade for another star if they want to, and you have the makings of something bigger than just a fun start. You have the blueprint for a dynasty. This isn't a veteran team pushing for one last run. This isn't a super team that mortgaged its future to win now. This is a 21-year-old phenom and a 19-year-old rookie already playing at elite levels, surrounded by a roster that's young, hungry, and only getting better. Victor Wembanyama is already making a legitimate MVP case. Dylan Harper is playing like the Rookie of the Year. And the Spurs, they're undefeated, disciplined, and ahead of schedule. So the question isn't whether this is real. The question is how long the rest of the NBA has before San Antonio becomes the league's next great dynasty. Because if this is what they look like in October, imagine what they'll look like in May or in 5 years. Are we watching the birth of a new era? Or are we watching the NBA's future nightmare take shape in real time? One thing is certain, the Spurs don't just have a Wembanyama problem anymore. They have a Wembanyama and Harper problem. And unless the league figures it out soon, that problem is only going to get worse.